Hi all, this is Michael from Seagod, and today we're going to look at a very, very interesting topic. So we kind of looked at something a bit more technical, and then I was thinking about the kind of nutrition side of things, and I was like, no, we need to explore this topic now. This is for all the people who aren't happy with their amount of fat, and the question is, why are you fat, right? Big, broad topic, very sensitive topic to a lot of people. But hopefully today we can get a little bit more clarity on it. So I think in general, and I will go through this in more detail, there are two main sides to it. There's calories in and calories out. I think you've heard that a lot, and I will analyze that and other important concepts such as the quality of fat loss and everything in the future. However, today I want to look at one of the biggest hurdles on the calories in side of things. What is that? Why do you eat? In particular, overeat. And by overeat, I mean why do you eat more than your body needs? Oftentimes you don't know quite where that range is, but we're going to explore that, right? It is a decision we make every day, whether to overeat, to eat the right amount, or to undereat. Right? Today we're looking at the overeating side of things. At the end of the day, it is a simple task, right? I hate to break it to you, it's very simple to eat the right amount. Your body, that's what your body needs. So clearly there is something else going on, and especially since we consistently make such different choices. There will be a thinker, right? So I want to go through a series of questions, with sub-questions, etc., that will get you to question why you eat. So one, do you just love the taste of food? Food is tasty, and we're wired to think so. You get a huge dopamine rush when you're having very tasty foods. There's even loads of foods, and loads are a lot of the snacky foods, that are engineered to maximize that dopamine hit. It feels good. It's a good reason to overeat. Interesting to hear. We'll get more on that later. Secondly, does your environment stimulate you to eat more? Do you feel pressured from people around you to eat in a certain way, to eat certain things? Do you not want to be different from those people? Another little question, do you think they care? Because honestly, most times they don't care. Sometimes they might even want to drag you back because they know they can't do it, and when they see somebody else succeeding, they're like, no, I don't want them to be better than me. Very, very complex issue. Don't want to get too into it, but it is important to think about. And it is important to note that in order to change, something must change. Something must give, as the current thing is not working. Right? Next question. Is it hard? Can you make it so that completing the necessary action, that would be eating the correct amount, becomes the easiest option available? Or can you make it easier than it is now? Basically, it is a hard thing. I agree. You know, you might count calories, whatever way you might approach this, it is a change, and change is also hard. However, the comfort is, as we grow in our competence and as we build a new normal, it becomes easier. And slowly it becomes even unconscious. And then it becomes the easiest option because it is the option we've always known, even though that's not necessarily true because you are starting at a place where that is not the case. But with time, that is how it becomes. It's like, well, why wouldn't I do it this way? Next big question. Do you fail sometimes? Do you sometimes eat out or binge? So what? Why does this mean that you need to continue overeating? Would you say that if I trip and fall, then I shouldn't get back up? That I should stay on the ground for the rest of my life? No, that would be ridiculous. When you're listening to music, do you not understand a word, and you're like, screw it, not listening to the rest of the song, I didn't understand a single word? No, that'd be silly, right? It would. It really would be silly. I'm making these examples purposely silly to prove the point. If you're texting a friend, you write a typo in the message, and then you just never text them again. Well, you know, I made a little mistake, I typed something wrong, never texting them again. Ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. So I hope The answers to all of these questions are no, right? The point is, you forgive yourself and then you keep doing your best, right? You get back up. You continue listening to the song. It would be ridiculous not to. You continue talking if you misspeak, right? And you text your friend back, hopefully, right? Be a good friend. Hope so for you. It's the same when eating healthy. It is not about perfection. In fact, you should expect to fail. You should expect to not do it perfectly. All that matters is that you do it better than you are now, and slowly over time you get better and better. Even the highest paid athletes in the world fail. They sometimes eat out. They sometimes eat too much. And you know what? Do you think that stops them from continuing the very next meal to eat at their normal? Absolutely not. So why not make that your normal, right? Next question. Is it helping you cope with stress? This actually makes a lot of sense. Food can help us manage our cortisol levels, right? The stress hormone. And we can get this through physical and mental stressors, and food can help relax us and deal with the stress better. So sometimes we may have a lack of sleep, exhaustion from physical labor, or even mental stressors from, work or a very tiring relationship. Some of us aren't in the best relationships, and that's okay. And by relationships, I don't mean just with your significant other. I mean with, your friends. They might stress you out for one reason or another, or whatever. And they may be little things, but they add up, right? So there is a question to be asked here. Are these stressors more important than losing fat? Are you going to give in to the stress? Is that having that stress more important? And then, are they going anyway anytime soon? Probably not in most cases. Some of them, yes. You can just try to sleep better tonight, but that might not be an option for everyone. Well, what if you learned how to upgrade your normal and become more performant while these stressors are there? Because then, when these stressors aren't there, life's easy, right? It's free sailing. And then when they come back, you can do it, right? So you can just keep going and you don't fall off the wagon because you can do it. You've done it before. Why not do it again, right? Another question. Is the pain of being in your current shape just not painful enough? Do you want to make it more painful? Do you want to add another 50 kilos or 100 kilos? Big numbers. Can you do all the things you want to do right now? And the answer might be yes, right? I'm here trying to help you make a decision. I'm not here necessarily trying to give you answers, right? Would you have to hit rock bottom to do something about it? Then you have to ask yourself the question, what is rock bottom? Would I have to be bedridden, not be able to move, be on the verge of dying, have every illness under the sun? Is that rock bottom? It sounds extreme, but what's the difference between you considering that rock bottom a place where you start making significant choices and you just considering now that rock bottom? Because then you know what you can do. You can raise that rock bottom. For example, for myself, it sounds a bit intense, but when my abs fade, so around 15 to 18% body fat, I consider that relatively rock bottom for my physique. I'd actually consider it rock bottom for my physique. I often really get back into it if I ever let myself slip that far. Why can you not make that your normal? And that's even a relatively flexible normal, because in due time, as we explore the topic, you realize having a six-pack, quite an easy thing. Well, quite a simple thing. These are the questions that make it hard, right? So the point is, you want to create a new normal. Do you want to make it so that now is the painful point that you never want to go back to, right? Another really, really good question as to why you eat, why you may eat, is, are you bored? This is, I think, one of the more common ones. Do you just eat because you don't know what to do or think, or because you're trying to take a mental break in some sort of way? Because, to be honest, if you're like, if you're at work all day and you're like, I could go for an ice cream. Are you really hungry? Let's be honest. Or I could eat a biscuit. Are you really hungry? And the people who I'm talking to know I'm talking to them. Are you really hungry? Because if you're really hungry, you could eat anything. You would die for unsalted, unbuttered, no oil, overcooked piece of turkey breast. It would sound absolutely heavenly, right? That's being hungry. Is you just wanting that extra biscuit, or wanting that little bit of ice cream, or wanting that extra piece of slice, you being hungry? No. I'm sorry, it's not. It's as simple as that, right? And you know, the point here isn't to make you feel bad for wanting that extra piece. It is to realize, is this coming from a place of need? Is it coming from a place of want? And just because I want or feel like I need this, does that mean that I just do it? How about keep the long-term goal in mind? How about be like, yeah, I'm bored. Let me read a book, or let me, even watch a video. Not the best extra habit to have, but at least you might learn something there, and you are keeping yourself in line with your goals, right? Then another question is there a knowledge gap? You know what? Fair enough. We can always learn more, and there will always be things you do not know. But I have a sneaking suspicion you already know what at least some of the things that you quote unquote should be doing are, right? I say should because this is always a decision. Inaction is just as much of a decision as action. So you continuing the way you are is a choice. And you know what? If you are happy with that choice, that is perfectly fine. This is more aimed towards the people who are not necessarily all that happy with that choice. Right? Just for your information, over the next while, I will be going over the main concepts that you can use to achieve a successful fat loss diet, a repeatable one. I, for example, have very regularly just gone back in, lost the fat I wanted to lose, pretty predictable and sustainable way, which means, I have utmost confidence that other people can achieve very similar results. All right. About this, I've set up a little questionnaire, and if anyone wants to take it and they match certain healthy criteria, I just don't want to be hurting anyone, I want to help keep 5 of you accountable for 6 weeks, completely free of charge, no strings attached, with some free coaching. So if you are interested in that, just let me know by the end of May. Right? Last one is there some other reason? I want you to think about this for the rest of the day. Why do you eat? Right? Why? What is the reason? You should find out. And if you are happy with the reason, then continue eating. But if the reason just isn't good enough, then maybe there is something to be had a look at. Right? That's it. So as you understand the reason you eat, I think you will be in a more powerful position to shed that reason and then move towards becoming the most performant you. Right? I just want you to think about it. That's it. Thank you very much for listening to today's video, and I will see you soon. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.